Hey, you guys, welcome back to What's Happening. So many of you have probably heard the podcast with Carlos King interviewing Kimmi and mauricescott. And during this interview, he talked about getting the show back to its originality. On this last episode where we saw all 6 of them, having dinner and talking, Carlos wants to see more of this in the next season. He wants all 6 of them to start filming more together. And even though he realizes might be a long shot, but he said he was going to sit down with them and have dinner with them and see if we can get back to that. So let's take a listen to what they had to say.
My biggest goal moving forward, honestly, and I'm saying this publicly, so hold me accountable, I want to get back to the basics of the show. And what I mean when I say that is, I was watching a cut that you guys haven't seen yet. And it's the original 6 having a dinner scene based upon what happened with Wanda and Melody and the whole Madani melee. And the absolute moment the 6 of y'all sat down, and this is a true story. I was watching on a Sunday, and I was like, this is what I need to get back to. Like, it was just something, it was something magical happens when the 6 of y'all are together.
100% agreed. 100% agreed.
And
I agree.
I would like to get back to that. And I agree with you. I think in the beginning, I'll say this. I think in the beginning, everybody was hungry. Like, oh my, like, we want to be number 1, and we gonna give everything to it. And listen, this is no shade to anybody. I always say to people, I have no idea what it's like to be on reality TV telling my personal business. I don't know what that feels like. And I always say to people, I understand that at some point it comes in time when you're like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to address it. I'm not going to say how I really feel because I don't feel like dealing with the backlash of it. And my hope, and I believe this will happen, but my hope is that we do get back to the original way the show was, which honestly, and I know the listeners are like, whatever, Carlos, you like messy, ratchet shit. And listen, listen, we all do. Let's be clear. But you need a little of it, little sprinkles. But next season, I want to see more of the 6 of y'all in the same room. And I know, based on where we are right now, that's a tall challenge.
Baby.
However, I am not going to rest until we all collectively agree that our relationships may not ever be the same. But we all love this show, and we all gave our all to this show. And let's get back to doing that in a way that is honest when it comes to the 6 of us. So I wanted to let you guys know that. I already spoiled what my meeting was going to be about, but I still have more to say that I ain't going to say on the podcast. But that's the main thing. But do y'all agree with me?
100%.
Yeah.
I think that if you saw the meteoric rise that we all had when we were collective, it was just so much diversity in the room. And there's so many different viewpoints about everything. Now, mind you, on one side, it's a challenge. And it makes you sharpen your sword when you're bringing your ideas to the table because it's going to be challenged. However, you have 6 different viewpoints of how to make it right, how to make it successful, a different way of looking at it. And those what if questions, I can tell you this, Carlos, you need to show the audience the unedited version of that.
No, it was too long. Remember, Carlos would get angry. Carlos would be like, I said, stop talking. This cut, it's over.
No.
And we would talk forever and ever and ever. P says that y'all are adults. I know you know what stop talking means. I know you understand when I say stop talking.
There was so much that we were talking about.
I know you remember that.
I do.
I know you remember that.
I do.
Hey, Carlos, there were some really good nuggets that we left on the floor. Trust me.
But Carlos, what's funny is that those same things y'all filmed that went on for hours. When we were upstairs in Cotton Row, first season, when we were in the dining room, when we were out in the little cotton field that go on for hours, that was like real life. We would talk for literally hours on end about those kind of things. And in all fairness, we really thought a fair share of those would be played out to where it elicited conversation, male, female conversation, husband, wife conversation, builder, contractor conversation where contractors disagree. You know what I mean? So we've always been in that little vein about just kind of spurring on conversation. Part of the reason the comeback group had such a hard time was because those meetings went on for hours without resolution. Without resolution.
Carlos, do you remember when the cameraman fell asleep?
Yes! He was like,
too much.
They talking about the same shit for 2. But listen,
hours.
As a producer, but that goes to show you it was honesty, and there was a level of not only just respect, but camaraderie, and y'all cared about each other. Because when you don't care about somebody, you will walk off the scene and be like, I'm done. And that was the beauty of it. And I'm hoping to get back to that. And when it comes to the two of you, do you guys miss the friendships that y'all had with each other in the beginning as a collective?
I do. I think that ultimately everybody was in a better place at that time. Business-wise, notoriety-wise, and all the rest of that stuff, of course, we're light years beyond where we were. However, I think when you strip away all of that stuff, what do you want to leave? You want to have relationships. You want to have love. You want to have things that matter outside of, the money. Yeah. And I think that to me has always been important. I think it speaks to, my character. And I think that collectively as the 6 of us, if we can rebuild those relationships, then I think that we'd be much better off.
Yeah, I miss the excitement of how much we actually enjoyed each other. Like, and anybody will tell you, I was pretty much the outlier of the 6. But even with that being said, I like the energy. Like when Melly would get up and text at 6:00, we going camping today, or we going hiking, or let's go to Memphis, or let's go to Nashville. That was fun. The spontaneity of it as friends was fun. To see all of us enjoying each other's company was fun. Obviously the times when we had a little tension, that's not fun. I don't want that part back.
But Kimmi, what's interesting is it was still fun. Like I tell people this all the time. My favorite season of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Again, I don't know what season we in, so I'll just tell y'all what happened that season. I loved the Vegas trip. And I'm going to tell you why. And this is why I know we can get back to that. Melody and Martell was still divorced. Everybody was at a place in their lives where I think they're kind of still there. But it was magical when y'all all were in the same room together, kicking back, drinking, in the pool. And you don't have to always agree with each other, but there was just this love that y'all had for each other. And I know that we'll never get back to where people were 4 years ago, but if we can get back to where y'all were in Vegas, where we're around each other, we can have dinners, we can hang out, Tisha and Melody can coexist in the same room and have conversations and have each other's back. Kimmi can have a disagreement with Marceau and Tisha and still be like, let's go out to have dinner, go to the club. Like, I know that, again, there is something about the original 6, and I know that may sound shady to the other cast members, and it's not shade.
And no shade.
But
it just is what it is.
It is what it is, and at the end of the day, the show is where it's at because of the 6 of y'all. Period, point, and the blank. This show would not be where it's at if we took out one. I always say this, and I'll say it again.
Me too.
I will always say it. Love and Marriage Huntsville became the #1 show on OWN because of the original 6, because it was definitely lightning in a bottle, and people miss the 6 of y'all just talking to each other.
Yeah, and you can't can't take one out without the other. People say all the time, oh, you need to have your own show. Yeah, no. Like, it's the 6, and it works with the 6. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to love me. You can love Mel. You don't have to love Mel. You can love T. Like, it's something for everybody. It literally is something for everybody. And that's the part I like about it. Like, real talk. I mean, like, everybody ain't gonna like you. It's all good. Like somebody else.
That's fair.
Now, I do have to say, I really did enjoy seeing all 6 of them in a room together, talking. It reminded me of the beginning of the show, when the show first started, when they all used to get together. So I do definitely understand where Carlos is coming from with that, and how Kimmi and Maurice feel about it too. But let me know, what do you guys think? Do you think it's possible for all 6 of them to film together, and do you think it will work? Carlos King says that after the reunion show, he is headed to Huntsville and he's going to have a sit down with the 6 of them, because like he said, he wants to see more of them all filming together. Just want to know what your thoughts are on this. But once again, I thank you guys for listening, and as always, I will talk to you in the next video.